So good morning. It is Deanna, your fave stylist. I am up and at 'em super early this morning because the city of Arizona thought they was about the city of Arizona. Who I sound like? The city of Tucson thought they was about to get this pregnant woman to do jury duty, but me and my doctor got another thing coming for them. So I'm leaving the doctor's office to get my doctor's excuse. Or it's not really an excuse, it's just a paper stating that I'm like in my third trimester. So I just don't think that I would be fit for jury duty. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys today about some things that I have learned in business as usual, my beauty tidbit. So there's a lot of us out there that we want to jump out there and we want to own businesses and we want to rock the house and we want to be our own independent entrepreneur and independent contractor and all of this stuff. And that is all fine and dandy. But let me tell you something. If you don't go to business school, there's going to be a lot of things that you don't know. You just don't know comes with business. If you don't have a mentor that has done everything that you are trying to do, you're not going to have nobody to tell you what to do. If you just don't read books on business, there's going to be a lot of things that slip through the crack. And even if you do all of those things, it's still going to be a lot of stuff that slips through the crack. I've been in business for myself for about, since 2013, and I was an independent contractor before that, and there are still things that are slipping through the cracks. Okay, so I wanted to share with you guys one of the most recent things that I have learned, because I have been on both sides of the fence with this. So whenever you are a business and you want to sell product, I don't know how this works in any other state, the details, but I can speak to you coming from an Arizona perspective, right? So if you sell products and you collect sales tax on that product, which you have to collect sales tax if you live within the city limits. If you live without the side of the city limits, you probably have a different type of sales tax. So what this is called is the transaction privilege tax. In order for you to sell items in a city or a state, you have to pay them. Okay? So for Arizona, I think it's safe to say it's like 8.1%, but that's if you're within the city limits. When you're outside of the city limits, it may have changed. When you're outside of the city limits, you pay 6.1%. So when I first opened up my business and I was up on Ina and Oracle, I was like in the city, but I was considered outside of the city limits due to the, parameters and borders of what they actually consider the city of Tucson. So, what they do is once a month, first of all, you've got to go and apply for this TPT number or TPT license, which is the license that registers you with the state to let them know, like, hey, this lady is doing business. She has her business license. She is, up to date with everything that she needs to operate the type of business that she has. And she is collecting taxes on behalf of the state. So what happens is they want their money every single month. Okay, so they're going to send you a paper and it's going to be called your TPT. I call it my TPT paperwork. You're going to fill that paperwork out every single month. They send it to you usually, I think, at the end of the month, and you have to turn it back in by the 15th. And it's really, really easy. The paperwork looks really complex and it looks like, oh my God. Like if you're just selling retail, you're not taxing services or doing construction and all this other crazy stuff that they have on there, then you really don't have to worry too much because it's really easy. You just figure out your code, which if your code is like selling retail, in the state of Arizona, your code should be 017. So you fill that paperwork out every month, you send it back in. And if you do that, you're fine. But then this is the thing that I've learned with business. You have to research the good, the bad, and the ugly of every possible situation that you have going on. Because there was one point in time when I was filling out my TPT taxes, and, you know, I'm really open. You know, I was having issues with keeping up with my paperwork about, 6 months to a year ago. So, and I've recently gotten better because I've had to hire people to help me and to teach me. So I would not always fill out my TPT paperwork just because I was just horrible at filling out paperwork. And what I would do is I would not fill the TPT paperwork out, but I would wait like 6 months, and then I would fill them all out together and then just send in my $50 or $70 or whatever it was for my retail. Now, some hairstylists do get a little bit slick, and they just they take the paper, they fill it out and put 0 and send it back in. And they're like, I didn't sell nothing. I'm keeping the tax, the profit, and all of that, right? But that can cause you problems if you happen to get audited. If you ever happen to get audited, you're going to have to account for every single penny. And a lot of people don't take it seriously when they say, if you get audited. People hear that and they're like, oh, that hardly ever happens. I ain't never been audited, but I have, for lack of filling out paperwork and stuff properly as a business owner, have learned the hard way that IRS and Uncle Sam and all of them, if they do randomly catch you slipping, it is horrible, okay? They levy bank accounts and everything. Bank accounts that ain't got nothing to do with the business. So anyways, there's that. So now, let's say you don't fill out your TPT paperwork and you want to fill it out past the time that it's due, and you want to do like I did. So now they have this crazy geometrical algebra super from another dang on planet math problem that you have to do. It's like you got to add, divide, subtract, take 0.2168 and divide it into that, and then add another 0.6789. It's like, just pay it on time, because by the time you figure out how to do that complex math problem, you will have a master's in algebra, okay? Like, you literally have to sit down and remember. I don't even know how they came up with this, but whatever. Pay your TPT taxes on time, or it'll save you some time. Don't always put the 0, because if you're trying to grow in your business, you don't ever want to be doing anything that is not right. Anything that is deceitful at all does come back to bite you. If you are, it comes back to bite you whenever you're trying to grow and do bigger business. So just pay for what you got to pay for. So the next thing is, let's say you go a whole year without filing your TPT and sending in even a paper that says I didn't sell anything, or sending in a paper that does say your tax. Let's say you just avoid it altogether because it's just another nuisance in business. Well, what happens is, after a year, they are going to stop sending you your TPT papers. That's right. They're going to stop sending them to you. And then if you're not up and aware on everything that's going on, you're going to think, oh, well, let me just go online and print it myself and send it in. No, your license is now inactive. But then this is the thing, when your license becomes inactive. If your license, your TPT license, becomes inactive, then what now happens is you're not obligated or being held accountable by the state to pay taxes for that time. But if and ever so you do get audited and they find out that you were collecting state tax during that time, you're going to owe that and probably some fees. Okay? And if you were not collecting state taxes, but you were doing business in that state, that's a whole nother ball game that you will have to issue. So, if you get audited oh gosh, I don't know what would happen. I have never made it that far or even read up on that part yet. But the next thing is, whenever you allow your TPT license to go inactive after that year, whenever you try to get your stuff together and you call these people back, they're going to say, oh, yes. All right, Miss Melvira's Hair Studio, you're back and ready to do business legitly. Well, great. We're ready for you. Okay. Because we no longer trust you in, doing your good deeds and handling business on your own. In order for you to reactivate your TPT license, we are now going to need you to pay a $500 surety bond, which we are going to hold for 24 months. And this surety bond just gives us the security to know that you are going to pay your TPT taxes. And no, this surety bond does not go towards your TPT taxes. You will get this $500 back at the end of your 24-month period. And at the end of that, if you are in good standing and have stayed in good standing for the remaining amount of the 2 years that we've been holding this surety bond, then and only then will we release your $500. Now, don't mess up and not pay your taxes. They gonna take your little $500 and deduct what you owe from that if you don't pay it on time. So now you may ask, well, what about the year that I was inactive? Do I still have to pay taxes on that? Well, we don't obligate you to, because your TPT license was, out of compliance and we weren't requiring you to pay anything. However, if ever you get audited, you will owe that money. So it would be in your best interest as a business owner to go down to the TPT office and pay that past due amount that you know that you owe, just in case you get audited. And y'all, oh Lord, I need to do a video on getting audited, because I be saying that a lot in these videos, and I be talking to other hairstylists about it, and it just seems like we as hairstylists don't take it serious. And the thing that we need to realize is that we are a cash and carry business. It means that we receive a lot of our money through cash, and it's really easy for us not to claim everything. It's really easy for us not to claim our tips. Credit cards, they follow credit cards and, the Internal Revenue and IRS and all of them, they follow everything. So they follow everything you put in your bank account and every credit card transaction, but not necessarily the cash you have in your pocket. But if ever they decide to try to check you out and they find out that, the things in your home are worth more than what you're saying they are, and the car you driving and the clothes you got and all of that, you gon' pay. And you just don't want to get caught up in that. So you guys, if you didn't know, now you know. To be a business owner, there is a small detail that you need to know about called your transactional privilege tax. I don't know how it works in every other state, but in the state of Arizona, that is how it works. Your best bet is to pay it on time. And worst case scenario, at least fill the paperwork out and send it back in, because if you don't do good, legitimate business, then other business entities begin not to trust you as a business owner, and they have systems in place that help to protect their business from irresponsible business owners, like, people that don't fill out their paperwork on time. So if you guys do have any questions, I'm really open with sharing everything that I've learned as a business owner. And that's all I've got for right now. This is Deanna, your fave stylist from Melvira's Hair Studio, and I'm about to go get out of jury duty because I got my doctor's note.